Hey there, welcome back to Kinstretch. We're going to be working on some positions and setups today to prime you for surfing if and when that becomes a possibility for you. Because when the surf's up, you want to make sure your body's ready to go. So for today, props wise, you're going to need some floor space to work on as usual, as well as a little bit of wall room to put your back onto and kind of lean back onto. And then finally a towel just to provide a little nice pillow for your forehead when we're laying face down a little later in the class. To get warmed up, let's start with a nice active quadruped position for some shoulder cars, some glenohumeral cars. So from here, you'll just take a moment to feel into your feet and your hands. Take a breath, inhale, and then pack that air into your midsection. So if someone was here to push you over, you'd feel, oh, I got some stiffness and some stability to work with. And then slowly start to peel your left hand off the ground so that nothing else in your body moves when you do that. You can try that a couple times if you want to try that out and feel that slow peel to make sure nothing moves. Then when you're ready, cut that left arm across your body, keep the elbows straight, and start to reach up overhead as high as you can. When you get to your sticking point, let that bicep roll so you can reach behind you. Really find that space behind your hip before coming down to your pocket and reversing course. Now as you go, probably the majority of your energy and focus is going to go into the right arm and your body staying still. Let's go ahead and set that left hand down and do a shoulder car on the right side. Again, peeling the hand up so that we really make sure the torso stays stable for the shoulder car on this side. Very nice. Keep breathing, but feel that that breath doesn't just relax your torso, but it's moving around some active tissue in your midsection. Nice, Hannah. Good, okay. And then set down and relax for a moment. So we're going to do another shoulder car here, but now I invite you to sit your hips back as far as your knees and ankles will allow, all the way until maybe a child's pose position or a collapsed quadruped position. From here too, you're going to want to lift your left hand, but as you do, make your right hand really heavy into the ground so that, again, your torso doesn't move as you move that left hand. And then another shoulder car on this left side. Now feeling how that position at your hips and legs kind of encourages your back to stay even more still. As that left arm's moving, your right hand is staying heavy and pressed into the floor, allowing you to really carve out the largest circle you can with your left arm. And then plant that left hand and your final car for this right shoulder. Really going at a pace that allows you to notice what's going on. You're not just trying to get through the motion, even though it feels like some work, but you're really going at your own pace, going at the speed of your awareness. Great stuff. Okay, and then from there you can come up to an upright torso position, either kneeling, you could sit in a chair or stand up tall, whatever you like. Not even sure what Hannah's going to use, but we're going to use this upright torso position for some spinal cars. You can take hands across your shoulders to give yourself a hug. You could just as well cross your arms for a little Wakanda salute. Yeah, there you go. Whatever feels best for you and your body in terms of creating some tension in that upper body. And then once you're set, start the motion from the top of your spine by curling your chin into your neck, and then rounding those shoulders forward as if you're pulling with your arms, and keep going forwards until you're hunting for a stretch in your lower back. Now just pause here for a moment and take a deep breath so that on the inhale you can expand that stretch in your lower back. On the exhale you can wind up or curl up even further, and then keep your pelvis still as we start to rotate to the right. There we go. And then start to let that shoulder drop down to your hip.
You totally went to the left.
That's all good. It's probably right facing for if you're watching. And then lifting your sternum, rotating in that other direction, and then letting that active rotation turn into a lateral bend of your spine. And then round forward. Let's keep going in this direction for another lap. And this time, just keep asking yourself the question, is this the most amount that I can round forward? Is this the most amount that I can rotate? Also known as, are you rotating from all of the segments of your spine? Then as you laterally flex, same question. Is this as much as I can laterally flex using all of my spinal segments? And then extension, that's a tough one. Can you lengthen the front of your body any further? From here, a rotation, smoothly moving into lateral flexion, and then taking that lateral flexion all the way forward. Good. Now in this forward flexion, if you need to take a break, you can, or you can take a couple more of those deep inhalations to stretch and strong exhales to round forward more. Good, and all together now, let's really crunch up into that rounded shape and now twist to the other direction. Really wringing out that rotation, feeling that muscular effort hand off to the muscles that pull you into a side bend. And then feeling those muscles hand off to the tissue in your back that really lifts your sternum, lengthens your belly. Good, and then start turning those collarbones to the other direction, wringing out, trying to look further behind you before dropping your armpit on that side. And traveling forward. All right, last lap on your own. Again, moving at the pace of your awareness so that at each stage you can really ask that question, is this as far as I can go? And you can answer with a nice active contraction of your torso. You just might surprise yourself and find new range that wasn't available on those first couple passes. Yeah, there it is. It's the colorful shirt. It's really working for Coach Hannah here today. Good stuff. Taking care to work all the way through the finish line. And then bring yourself upright. Very nice. All right, let's go ahead and come all the way to a standing position here. Finish up our warm-up with some hip cars. And you're going to want to stand about an arm's distance away from the wall so that your inside leg has some room to move, because that's the leg we're going to be training here. And then whatever you need to do with that hand to provide a little balance. So Hannah's just kind of leaning against the wall, but if you could grab onto something, that'd probably be even better. And then hug your rib cage with your free arm, okay? When you're hugging here, you're trying to feel those ribs staying still, but you could just as soon hold onto your pelvis a little bit lower down your torso, or you could keep that hand moving. The goal is that nothing moves except for this inside leg. So let's help out with the breath. A nice inhale to brace. And then standing tall on your outside leg, bring that inside leg up into flexion and external rotation, and just hold there and make sure this is really as high and as rotated as you can get the leg. And now here we go, reaching your shin out to the wall. Start to feel the rotation of that hip as you reach your heel behind you. And then smoothly bringing that knee to tap your other knee and pause there. And we'll go back in the other direction, reaching the leg back, lifting the shin up, reaching that knee forward and up, and then finally across your torso. And let's do a second rep. Breathing around that brace that you're feeling with your free hand. And seeing, is there anywhere that you can ask for a little bit more contraction? Maybe from your inner thigh or from the back of your hip. All the way up. And this time as you come across, can you reach that knee and ankle even further across to the other side? Hold for a beat and then melt it down. Yeah, we're always searching for all of the corners. Go ahead, turn around. We'll just do the same thing on the other leg. So standing tall on your outside leg, give yourself a hug with that free arm. Check your balance with that working arm. And then inside leg comes up into flexion and external rotation. Reach that shin out to the side. Start to feel the rotation of your hip as you reach your heel back. And then when your knees come together or as close as you can get, pause and reverse course. Now this is a good angle to see that Hannah's doing an awesome job of keeping her pelvis still. On this next one, As she goes, maybe I'll just ask her to turn her pelvis like we don't want. Yeah, we don't want that. We really want to send the leg away while the pelvis stays focused in this forward plane. Stays still. All right, take these last 15 seconds to finish your second rep. Nice and muscular as you cut that leg all the way across your torso and just hold for a beat to feel those inner thigh tissues contract and then relax. Awesome. All right, so that should get you a little bit warmed up. So we're gonna now come down into a Sphinx position that we're gonna use a good bit today to help open up the front of your rib cage and really help set up your upper back for some of that surfing position when you're paddling. So if you've never surfed before, there's a lot of time spent on your chest looking up and paddling with your arms. Yes, exactly. And that's all well and good unless your brain doesn't know you have an upper back, in which case it's going to put all of that stress in your lower back. So for this Sphinx position, we're going to start, I'm going to move a little bit, we're going to start with those elbows roughly underneath your shoulders. So bring those elbows right out in front of you and walk those elbows right underneath your shoulders to bring your chest up. Yeah, okay. And here's where you have a little variability. If this feels real intense in your lower back, you could walk your elbows forward and that will work just fine today. If on the other hand, you're like comfortable with this position and you really want to see how much range can I get, you could walk those elbows in all the way until they're directly underneath your shoulder joint. In either case, you want to get your palms down. And then we're going to start here by just breathing, using our breath to actually expand the rib cage from the inside. So to get a feel for this, you're going to start inhaling through your nose. Try to breathe in quietly and see if you can send that inhale to your collarbones, to your sternum, and to all of those rib connection points at your sternum. As you exhale, you can just let the body relax deeper into this extended shape. And then as you inhale again, direct that air into your upper chest. Good. Keep working away at this for about 30 more seconds. Checking in that your neck is staying relatively relaxed. Obviously your head's up, so your neck is working. But what we don't want is a big shrug each time you inhale. Instead, send that breath a little bit lower onto the front of your chest and look for as much expansion of your rib cage as you can find. Good. As you finish up that last breath, let the air go. And we're going to stay put in this position for a couple isometric contractions. So we'll start here by just training the front side of your body. Keep that as your target. Start by taking a nice big inhale again. And then pressurize that air into your torso so you feel a little bit more muscular. Make your hands feel a little heavier, your elbows feel a little heavier, and you might feel actually some tissue turning on that wasn't on a second ago in the front of your torso. Also kick your feet into the ground and your knees and start asking your arms and your legs almost to come towards each other, although nothing will move. That's how we're now turning on the Pale's contraction, and I invite you to turn up the intensity of that contraction up to about 30%, 40%, and 50%. Let's hold that for 15 seconds. Maybe feeling a little bit of a shake here because remember, all of this strong tissue in your torso is in a very long position. Keep breathing and holding for 5, 4, 3, 2, and melt away that effort. Good. All right, and let's go ahead, come out of this position and come up to standing again. We'll be back for a little bit more Sphinx in a second, but I'm always curious, did that make a change in terms of forward flexion of the spine? So come on to the wall, just like Hannah's showing, the feet a foot or two away from the wall so you get a little mini wall sit going on. And then take a moment with hands on pelvis to curl your tailbone away from the wall and connect your lower back to the wall. Okay? So it's partly the position of your pelvis, but also you can use your legs to really make it feel muscular and push your lower back into the wall. We need to keep that area anchored. And then again, hug your shoulders or cross those arms. And we're going to start peeling forward, but we're only going to go down your spine to the end of your rib cage. So we're not going to round through that lower back. So start by pulling chin into chest, and then round your shoulders forward as if you're pulling with your arms. And look for trying to get flexion out of each and every segment of your vertebrae through that rib cage. The moment you start to feel that you have peeled your final rib off the wall, or as low as you can, pause there and start placing each segment back on the wall, moving from the bottom of your rib cage back up. When you get to your shoulders, you can pause there. Keep your neck rounded. Yeah, we'll just keep the neck rounded so we can keep going and work just on flexion of the rib cage. Peeling your shoulders forward, seeing how much motion you can get, but also how many segments you can get involved. There are very likely going to be spots that don't want to move, and you're just trying to first be aware of those spots, and then maybe a gentle encouragement to get some motion from those spots. Nice. Keeping that chin tucked, keep working away at this for 20 more seconds. Using your muscular contraction to actually increase what you're aware of. Are your arms providing some contraction? Are your legs online? Is your tailbone still curled away from the wall? All of those things are great reference points for you as you finish up this segmentation. And let that go. All right. Make your way back into our Sphinx setup. I just like saying Sphinx. That's a fun one. All right, so back here in Sphinx, we're going to start now with those pales contractions we were getting for the front side of the torso, but I'm also going to invite some contraction in your upper back, a rails contraction. For both of these, you're going to stay still even as I give you kind of movement cues. Just know that this is all going to be isometric. We'll just be changing where we're focusing that isometric. Okay, so find your setup with your arms, might be different from the last round. Take a breath or two to just settle into this position. Let your spine kind of fall forward. I think of like a suspension bridge, like my spine is just hanging from my shoulders, basically. Good. When you feel like you've found your spot, take one more inhale and brace your midsection. Good. So you're creating some pressure in your lower abdomen, and then kick your feet and knees into the ground. Push your hands and elbows into the ground, and imagine all of those points are now super glued to the floor, and start gently trying to pull those points towards your belt line or towards the middle of your body. Now, because nothing is moving, this should start to create a very clear contraction or sensation of tension on the front of your torso. And I invite you to ramp that up to 50%, and now maybe even a little bit more, 60% or 70%. And let's hold this for 10 seconds. Almost feeling like your pelvis wants to levitate off the ground, but you're keeping it still for 3, 2, 1, melt away that effort and sink back into that suspension bridge thoracic position. Yeah, nice, buddy. Okay, now for our rails contraction on the other side of the back, we'll start here again by packing some air into your abs, bracing. And now instead of making your hands and elbows heavy, start just asking those hands and elbows to get a little bit lighter, as if you were trying to lift your shirt logo to someone standing in front of you. We want to start with this pretty light so you can try to direct the contraction right into your upper back and not just feel it in your lower back. It's okay if that's contracting a little bit, but really try to spill that over and focus on your upper back. Okay? Now you'll increase the intensity of this contraction by asking your arms to get lighter and lighter as you try to extend or open the front of your body even further, like you're extending your spine into more stretch. For 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Melt that away. Very nice. Okay, we're just going to do one more set here. And again, if you're feeling, okay, that was a lot on my lower back, you're going to make it a little easier on your spine by walking elbows away. if you felt like, oh my gosh, I opened some range, you're going to bring those elbows under you more. Okay, whatever works for you. And let's start here again with a pales contraction. Big breath in, brace, then connect your feet and knees to the floor with super glue, elbows and hands, and then gently at first start trying to pull those super glued points towards the middle of your body, towards your belt line. As you do, feel that line of tension from your belt buckle all the way up to your chin, starting to work a little bit harder. Gradually ramp up this pales contraction. Now to the greatest safe feeling effort you can find. Nice and smooth. Start ramping up. And let's keep working for 10 more seconds. When my count gets down to 0, we're going to switch right over to your rails contraction. 3, 2, keep your position, but switch that contraction now to your upper back. Trying to feel the muscles turn on that would lift your sternum, lift your collarbones, and maybe even make your elbows and hands feel light. Good. Engage that tissue. Keep working for 5, 4, 3, 2, and melt that away. Yeah, very good. That's some real intensity for the tissue in your ribcage that doesn't get trained very much. So please take a moment. If you need to pause the video, grab some water, walk around, that's great. We're now going to come up into a quadruped position and just check in and see, again, how did that isometric work affect your spinal segmentation? So from hands and knees here, you're going to use that cat-cow positioning and that cat-cow segmentation, but we're really going to focus in on your upper back. So let's do 1 rep to get into position. Curl your chin into your neck, then chin to chest. Then start to feel some rounding in your upper back. This might feel really good after the Sphinx work. Letting that flexion make its way down your spine all the way down to your tailbone. Okay? Good. And then once you get to the bottom of your spine, just pause here and notice your tail is reaching to the floor, your head is reaching to the floor. You're going to keep those 2 points in mind. You're going to try to keep your tail and your head reaching towards the floor. And you're going to only start trying to move your collarbones forward. Tail stays curled, chin stays into your neck. Just reach your collarbones forward. Come to a complete stop when you're feeling like, I can't move my collarbones any more forward without losing that tailbone curl. Good. Now ask your sternum to lift up forward a little bit more, keeping that tailbone curled. Yes. And this is extending through your thoracic spine. Very nice. When you can't lift your sternum anymore without curling your tailbone, let's take it back into flexion. So round your ribs. You can move from the bottom up or the top down, whatever you like. Making your way until you're back into that rounded shape through your whole spine. Good. And we're going to try one more here. Keeping the tailbone curled. Maybe that's the very front of your mind. Start to lift your collarbones. Asking that question, how much can I extend my uppermost back? And then lifting your sternum. Good. Doing your best to keep your chin tucked into your neck so that really is just the motion of your rib cage. When you can't extend any further through that upper back, let's curl back under, rounding from the bottom of your ribs up through your upper back so your head finishes up here. Okay, very nice. Just sit back, give your wrists a quick break. We're going to do this very similar thing as that, but now with a little bit of an extended shape in the spine. Okay, so go ahead, come back onto hands and knees. And this time, let's do a full cat-cow moving into extension. So reach your chin up to the ceiling. Feel that muscular effort on the back of your neck. And then this should feel familiar, lifting your collarbones, lifting your sternum, and finally lifting your tail feathers to the sky as much as you can. Again, noticing your head and your tailbone are both reaching to the sky. Good. Okay. Now you're going to try to keep your lower back locked into this extended shape, and we're going to try to round your upper back. This one's a tough one. So let's move from the neck down. Chin pulls into neck. Chin pulls to chest. Start to round your upper back, but go slow so that you're sure you're not losing that tail reach up to the sky. Going down your spine only as far as you can without losing that shape in your lower back. When you've maxed it out, start making your way back up your spine into extension. Very nice. Good. And then when your head reaches to the ceiling, hold here and just commit. Okay, I'm going to really keep my lumbar spine still here and active. Final rep. Chin pulls into neck. Round your upper back. Good. Round that mid back. Trying to feel some motion or some stretch in your rib cage. And then pause before you feel like your belly button would round over. Okay? And make your way back up your spine into extension. Bueno. Good. And let that go. Awesome job. Okay. So just a little bit of fine tuning for your upper back can go a long way in terms of how your shoulders perform, how your neck and hips feel even. So we're going to let that go for now and move now to actually focus on shoulders and hips a bit. For this one, this is where we're going to move into a prone face down position. So you're going to want to grab your towel. Now just take a look and see where we're headed, because in a second you're going to be face down. You're not going to be able to see what's going on, though I will cue you. So in a moment, you're going to get set up with forehead resting on a towel. And then you're going to walk those hands out to the side like in a T shape. And then turn your thumbs up towards the ceiling and maybe just glance side to side once you get here to see, are my arms really out to the side? Very often you're thinking you're in a T and you're actually down by your ribs. So if anything, I'd rather have your hands be a little higher than your shoulders than too low, okay? So go ahead and come into this setup now. And from here, we're going to be specifically training your scapular range of motion. So to get a feel for that, just press down with your fists about 10% effort. And then using that 10% effort and keeping your arms straight, start to slide your shoulder blades together towards your spine, which will essentially drag your fists towards your torso. Okay? And just feel how close can you get those shoulder blades together without lifting or extending your spine, so your chest is staying heavy on the ground. Okay? When you think you've found your maximum amount of scapular retraction, keep your position, but start focusing on pushing straight down with your fists a little bit heavier, and see how much tissue you can engage on the front side of your arms and body. So you can imagine those points where your fists are pushing into the ground are not there, and you could just bring your straight arms together in front of you as if the floor wasn't in the way. Okay, this is your pales contraction. Ramp it up to the greatest safe effort that you can find here for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let that relax, but keep your position. And now let's see if we can get those shoulder blades to squeeze towards each other a little bit tighter. So start feeling those shoulder blades pull into your spine, keeping the hands on the ground for now, but really fighting for as much contraction as you can. You could also think of trying to open your chest up more into the floor to help resist that extension in your spine. And hold this for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Relax that. Good. Okay. We're going to just do another mini set like that in a second. One note, just take a look here. Hannah, would you show the extended spine that I keep referring to? So as we pull shoulder blades together, what we don't want is the head coming up, the neck getting tight, and the upper back or lower back actually trying to make this motion happen. What we want instead is a nice heavy into the floor feeling, and just move those shoulder blades on your rib cage, okay? So you can, as you set back up here, you can maybe just feel a few slides together and apart with those shoulder blades, and just really notice, oh yeah, my rib cage is staying still and my scapula are able to slide around that, okay? The next time you bring those shoulder blades together, pinch them into the spine as tight as you can, and then holding that, Start making your fist 10% heavier into the floor. Imagining that the floor isn't there. Can you try to keep pushing your hands heavier and heavier into the ground and engage even more tissue on the front of your arms and your chest? Good. Sometimes as you do this, you might unlock more range of motion and be able to pull those shoulder blades together even more and then get right back to those heavy hands. 5, 4, 3, 2, keep your position and switch right over to a rails contraction, trying to send all of your intensity to that tissue between your shoulder blades to open your chest even further. Maybe making your hands light, though keep them on the ground for now. 5, 4, 3, 2, and melt away that effort. Very nice. Okay, let's give the scapula a little break here and come into a seated position. Cool. All right, and for this seated position, you could lean back against a wall or a couch or something that you might like, or you can just camp out on your hands behind you, whatever works for you. And then start with your left leg straight, and we're gonna actually be training your right leg to start in hip external rotation and a little bit of abduction and flexion. So to set up into that position, you'll put your right ankle on your left thigh. Good. And just make sure you're not resting right on your kneecap, because that would might feel a little bit touchy in a bit. And once you're here, you're going to hunt for a little bit of a stretch in this right hip. So start by reaching your spine along, and then start bending your left knee just as much as you need to start to feel that stretch through the back and also the whole socket of the hip. Yeah.
Got it.
You'll see Hannah finds the stretch here. Yeah, it doesn't need to go too far. You might find like, oh my gosh, I need to bring that left foot all the way in so that my knee is almost touching my chest. That makes sense too. That's your end range. Okay. Now once you're there, take one more sort of breath to relax into this position. And then one good inhale to pack your abdomen with air, brace, then keeping that spine long and tall, start to ask that right ankle and knee to get light off the thigh or lift up towards your chest. Try to turn that on as much as you can. And finally, straighten your left leg, but try to keep your right leg as still as possible. Good. As soon as you have daylight under your ankle, you can pause there and hold. 5, 4, 3, 2, and then bring that left knee back. Try to pull it even closer maybe into your stretch again and just start relaxed breathing. Okay, so we'll do that a couple more times. You'll notice each time we do this, I ask you to turn on the contraction in your hip crease and all those rotating tissues in this right leg before we straighten the left leg. Okay, that's kind of a key detail. All right, take a nice inhale to brace. Reach your spine long to really direct that stretch into the back of your hip. And then start asking your ankle to lift off your thigh, your knee to reach towards your chest, and then finally straighten your left leg to remove the support for our passive range hold. 5, 4, 3, 2, and bring that left leg back. Okay, final rep here. Take a few moments to get comfortable, maybe work yourself into a deeper stretch, and then big inhale to brace your midsection. Spine stays long as you start to ask that right leg to get light on your left thigh, right knee to come into your chest, and finally straighten that left leg out as much as you need to create daylight and hold it. Good. Working even harder to feel that shin coming towards your chest for 3, 2, 1, and melt that leg all the way down. Awesome job. Okay, let's switch over to the other side. And again, this could feel like a lot for your arms and wrists, so if you'd like to lean back against something, that's fine. Just take care that you're not letting your spine collapse when you do that, but you're keeping your spine nice and long. Okay, good. All right, and so we're just going to start by hunting for a stretch on this side, bending your right knee now to pull that left ankle up. Hunt for that stretch. Use your breath to kind of micro adjust your way deeper into the stretch. And now take an inhale to brace your midsection. Keeping your spine long, start asking that left ankle to get light on the thigh, trying to turn on all that regressive tissue. And then slowly straighten your right leg, holding on as close to that stretched end range that you could find. For 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bring that right leg back. Good work. Yeah, okay, such a Kinstretch moment here of like, wait, Will, we're just failing over and over. Yeah, it could feel like that because that leg is holding on for dear life. But I was just noticing, I've known Hannah for a while, and this is much better hip external rotation than I've seen in the past. So stuff is moving.
Oh my God.
Okay, here we go.
It's the most humbling stuff in Kinstretch, I think.
Yeah, the regressive holds.
Oh my God.
So hard. Okay, so long spine, big breath to brace. Start asking that left leg to get light first, almost like you're trying to bite down on your shin. And then straighten your right leg to remove the support and hold it there, right there. 10-second hold, all out effort, knee to chest, ankle to chest. 3, 2, 1. Bring that right leg back to recover. And really, truly, you might find, oh my gosh, I'm able to find closer and closer to my chest with that stretch in that left leg, okay? All right, final hold here on this round. Brace your body. Then start asking that left leg to come up towards your chest first. Once that tissue's online, now we straighten the right leg to remove the support. And hold it, team. Go for it. Really ask for more contraction from your whole body, from your fingertips to your toenails for 3, 2, 1, and melt that leg down. Bueno. All right. Okay, so now as you make your way back into your face down position for a little revisit to some scap, just a note about why the heck do you need this tissue on the front of your hips to be strong for surfing? Well, because when you pop up on that board, you need to be able to pull yourself into a deep squat, and that's the tissue that really helps you do that quickly and effectively, okay? So now back into our T shape with the face down and the head supported. Take another quick glance, make sure your wrists haven't drifted down your body, but they're still out to the side. And then start looking for that same retracted shoulder blade position that we were training earlier. Keeping your chest heavy, your lower back calm. Check in, how close can I bring those shoulder blades to my spine? Or said another way, how much can I open my chest up with straight arms? Okay. Now, from here, we're going to move forward from what we did last round and go right to our rails contraction to start. So start asking those wrists to get light without lifting them up and see how much juice can you send to those tissues between your shoulder blades. Hannah's sending some juice because she's shaking a little bit. Okay, and now let's remove the support of the floor by actually lifting the wrists off. That will occur from the back of your shoulder, but now we're putting the weight of your arms into your upper back. For 5, 4, 3, 2, parachute landing with those wrists back down. And then just take a moment here as you recover to see, can I wedge my shoulder blades closer to my spine? So a little pressure through the wrist down into the floor could help, but really this is about you trying to find that tissue, try to feel it, sense into it. Then once you feel like you've retracted your shoulder blades as much as possible, hold it and ask those wrists to actually come off the ground for a passive range hold for your upper back and scapula. 5, 4, 3, 2, and slow motion meltdown. Very nice. Okay, wiggle, whatever feels good. Take a breath. And we're going to do one final 10-second hold for these tissues. Start by wedging your shoulder blades together, opening your chest up as much as you can. When you can't get them any closer, squeeze those shoulder blades tight and lift those wrists off. And really feel that tissue between your shoulder blades working at its near maximum ability. For 5, 4, open your chest more. 3, 2, and slow motion melt away. Oh yeah, very nice. Okay, we're gonna come back to our seated hip setup for one final set. You know what that means. Anything you've got left, bring it to the party now, okay? Alrighty.
I was holding back first.
Yeah, I could tell. The shake from before was just a gimmick.
It was a shake for show. Just Shake Shack.
Faux shout. All right, so setting up with your right ankle on your left thigh. One little change or adjustment you might make this time is tune into your tailbone reaching behind you, like you're trying to reach your belly button forward, and that will actually take your hip into even deeper range of motion. All right, so a little bit extra there. And then from this end range, we're gonna brace the midsection with a breath. Good, and then start asking that ankle and knee to come in towards your chest. Then, once you feel that clearly, start to straighten your left leg and hold it. Good. Sending as much contraction to all those tissues as you can. Can you bring your ankle closer to your face? Can you bring your knee closer to your armpit? We're holding a little longer here. Very nice. 5, 4, 3, 2, and bring that left knee back to rescue. Pull you back into a stretch. Yep, that was a 15-second hold. We progressed from 10-second holds in the first round, but the trade-off is we only do 2 15-second holds. All right, so final rep for this side. Get that spine long, reach the tailbone behind you. Feel into that stretch, and then start gradually turning on that lift-off sensation of ankle trying to lift off of your thigh, knee trying to come towards your chest. Once that hip crease is online, straighten your left leg and hold once you have daylight under that ankle. As you hold here, if you've got it like Hannah, you can really be fighting for space. Don't let that ankle touch your thigh. You got it, team. Keep asking for more. Spend it, spend it, spend it. 4, 3, burn out that inner thigh tissue. 2, 1, and melt down. Woo! All right. Let that right leg go straight. Blup. And then left ankle on the thigh. Yeah. We have ended her right leg. Okay, great stuff. We got this.
One more side.
One more side, 2 15-second holds. We're just holding the weight of your leg. What could be so hard? All right, so find that extra little bit of stretch you might notice by reaching your tailbone behind you. Good. Then brace your midsection, brace your upper body so your ribs are not going to round over. And then start asking that left ankle to get light on your right thigh. Probably won't move yet. And then finally straighten out that right leg until you actually do have daylight. Hold it there, fighting for more. Asking for that ankle to come towards your face, that knee to come towards your armpit. Searching, is there anything else you can get to contract in your inner thigh and hip crease? For 3, 2, 1, and recover with that right leg coming in. Oh yeah, take a moment, collect yourself. Just a note about cramping. I feel like every single one of our classes has a note about cramping. You very well might cramp in your hip crease tissue here. If that's the case, then you could kind of flirt with this leg fully kind of coming away from the ankle. You could keep the ankle on and just flirt with as much contraction as you can find in that area so that it doesn't go into a full-on cramp. Because if you're full-on cramping, we're no longer training. Now your brain is just basically seizing your tissue. Okay? Final set. Here we go. Brace. Spine is long, reaching that tailbone behind you for more stretch. And then ask that shin to come up towards your nose. Once you feel that tissue online, start to straighten the right leg slowly so you can pause right when you have daylight. Hold it. 15 seconds here. Fighting for maximum effort. Like that leg weighs 2,000 pounds and you're trying to bring it towards your nose. Very good. 6 seconds. Breathing around a maximally contracting body. 3, 2, 1. Melt it away. Hey, great stuff. All right, we're going to leave it there. Tune in for part 2 of our Surfs Up little mini series here. And I'd love to hear how this feels, especially if you're a surfer and you're maybe trying to put this stuff into play on the surfboard. All right, have a great one.
This is a surfer thing, right?
This is a surfer thing. Hang loose.